Hello, my delightful friends. Hey, it's Spencer Uncensored, episode 68. I don't know how unhinged this one's going to be. I don't think it's going to be super unhinged, but I am. I'm in the middle of going through one of the teams that I'm a part of and having conversations with a bunch of them and a lot of the agents. And so most of tonight's conversation is probably going to be fueled by that discussion in and of itself because I think there's some patterns that are emerging. They always do. Every time I have these conversations where I just sweep through everybody and have a quick check in on what's going on, we end up emerging some very specific patterns that are showing up. And today, well, actually, over the last couple of days, we have found the pattern. Here we are at the end of April, going into May, that the challenge for a lot of individuals, there's two particular challenges that are showing up. It's that feeling of people telling me, well, I think that people are just worn down. Maybe that's what I'm sensing. People are just worn down right now, and so they're losing their focus, and so they get this fractured situation where I'm just not sure. I don't know. I'm doing things. I'm not doing things. I'm tired, and so it's causing people not to be fully engaged and present with their outcomes because in some sense they just don't feel like there's any hope. Like there's no hope in making this happen. And so with that being said, here's just some of the things that we have been talking about to help people change that perspective. So if today you're kind of like, I haven't really been doing everything I should be doing. I know I should be doing more. And you feel like you're spread out all over the place mentally. Anytime we have that issue of a lack of priorities, there's one of two conversations that we're going to have when we use the unshakable framework that we talk about. And oddly enough, I'm in the middle of that discussion right now on this book. So to create priorities or have priorities, we talk about the mindset of focus and the mechanics of standards or a plan. You lose your focus and you lose your priorities when you don't focus on the plan. Let's talk about focus first. If you're challenged with focus, it might be because you are focused on what you don't want. And this, guys, as fundamental as this is, it might be a good time for you to have a quick check-in with yourself. Because if you're finding yourself consistently talking about what you don't want, then your focus is fucked up. You're having a problem with understanding where it needs to be. Your brain doesn't know how to get you closer to your outcome if you can't constantly do anything but talk about what you don't want. I just had a conversation with an agent recently, and they kept telling me what they don't want to do. I know I don't want to do this. I know I don't want that. Cool. What do you want? That's a hard question. It's not a hard question because you need to clarify what you want. When you know what you want, you're going to have a better focus. If you're struggling with clarifying what you want, then maybe you need to take a moment and write down all the things you don't want, right? All the things you're afraid of and that you're moving away from, right? I don't want to be broke. I don't want to have this kind of business. I don't want this kind of market that's going to have, I don't want this. I don't want that. When you start writing those things down, then take a moment and go on the other side of the page and write down what would be the opposite. Now, that it may not be exactly the opposite, but it will probably give you some direction about what it is that I'm actually wanting. Because when we stand in a constant sense of what I don't want, any plane will get you there if you don't know where you're headed. Right? You could literally get on any plane at the airport and end up somewhere else as long as, and it doesn't matter where it goes because you just got away from where you were at. Unfortunately, when you operate that way of focusing on what you don't want and what I'm moving away from, you are going to get way more, or you may end up in a situation that's worse. Moving away. Your focus is incredibly important when it comes to creating progress and moving your life forward, moving your business forward. This is also true if you're leading a team. If you don't want certain behaviors, then you can articulate that and say, that's not what we do, or that's not what I want. However, you must follow that up with what you do want. So if you tell somebody to stop doing something, make sure you also tell them to begin something else. Stop this, stop that. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Or I want this outcome. I want this result. This is what we're headed towards. That's how you do focus. Now, sometimes I'll have the naysayers out there, comments and whatever shit that tells me, oh, well, this is all positive bullshit. Let me tell you something. This isn't only about positivity, about moving towards positive things. No, it's about moving towards relevant things, things that are relevant to a commitment I made, things that are moving me forward. It's not about being positive only. There's a difference between focus and awareness. I could be focused on what I want, and I could be aware of what I don't want. So I'm not telling you to ignore the negative things or the threats in your life, the things that could cause you problems. I'm not telling you to ignore them at the cost of going after what you want. I'm telling you to be focused on what you're moving toward and be aware of the things you're moving away from. See, if I'm aware, then I will be able to deal with those threats and do it quickly. But my intentionality and my energy is going to be focused on where I'm headed. Most people are doing it backwards. Too many people, they do it the other way around. They focus on what they don't want, and then they're aware that they might have some positive things that go on. Guys, that's what drifters do. Drivers don't do that. Drifters show up, they hope that things happen. That's not what a qualified champion is not going to do that. The person that's going to get the progress and move their business forward is going to decide where they want to go and focus on that direction. Give yourself a little bit of a check-in on that. And if you find yourself doing that, where I say, I don't want this, I don't want that, then start changing it up for yourself. Change it up for yourself. It's a quiet night. It's a quiet night tonight. Let me, all right. Moving in. All right. Now, I told you there was more than one topic, but that focus piece is a big part of it. For some, and a few of them, we've actually had to have a conversation around commitment. And that's the building block of priority is on top of the building block of purpose. You're not going to get the results you want until you make a commitment of where you want to go. Purpose comes from the mindset of commitment and the mechanics of an outcome. Purpose happens when we are committed to an outcome. If you're approaching life right now, if you're approaching your business, you're approaching everything from a standpoint of, I would like to see this happen. I'm interested in these things happening. I would like, I just got this very mediocre, bland way of just showing up and see what happens kind of thing. Your brain won't know what to do with it. No one's coming to save you. Commit to the outcome first. Commit to an outcome first. Maybe that's the challenge. That's the first challenge. Part of my conversations have been around that. But now the ones that have had a conversation, some of the agents I've been talking to recently are committed to an outcome. They're focused. They're doing their thing. They're holding their resources accountable, and they're performing. But the piece that's missing in the performance is a conversation around conversion. It came up more than once in the last 2 days. When I say conversion, I'm referencing the agent that tells me, or the business owner that says to me, I'm having lots of conversations, but I'm just not able to get them to the next step. I do an entire conversion program. We talk about it, conversion immersion. Um, it's really going to come down to having a solid offer that solves a problem. For the real estate friends that are on here, and this is primarily real estate in this group, we have conversations with potential buyers and potential sellers. And the only thing that a lot of agents really have to offer is just a conversation. And so we actually invite people, or I encourage agents to build programs, build systems, build an offer so that they have something to present and solve a problem for the buyer or the seller, the prospect. What are buyers looking for? Well, they want access to homes. They need to find the home. They need negotiation so that they can get the best deal possible. There's a lot of different things that they're looking for. Does your presentation or your offer to them meet all of those needs? Will you make the process easier? Will you make it a better financial decision for them to work with you? How do you articulate that? And I've dealt with that a bunch of times in different scenarios. But that's one of the things that we talk about also in the Real Estate Reset, the course that I have. If you're interested in that, let me know and I'll plug you in. But the conversion is only going to happen when you can actually answer the question, what are you going to do? What is it going to do for me? What is your service going to do for me? What problem does it solve? And when you can solve a problem and articulate it in an actual offer, you're going to have a better conversion. So I've been making some suggestions for some. For some, they need to go and actually do some hardcore training type things. A book I have recommended today, actually to more than one person, was Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. Check that one out. It's pretty basic. It's pretty clean cut on how to go from A to B selling something. Super useful. So if you're looking for a book to learn on how to sell, that's a good one to do that with. And there's a bunch of them out there. Matter of fact, if you've got any that you can think of, drop it in the comments, right? Let us know what you might have. This is what's happening here. We're having a problem with conversion. So those of you that are actually taking action and doing the things, and you're right, that's where a lot of you are hanging up right now, is conversion. I might need to do a conversion immersion class, although I have that module in the Real Estate Reset. So we actually talk about that for the real estate agents. But it's also true for those of you that are like insurance. You're in insurance. We can actually use the same principles in insurance, right? How do you close people to make a decision, right? What's the next step? Well, for insurance, usually it's quotes. We got to get a quote going, and then we close, right? Well, in real estate, it's we got to get a presentation scheduled so that I can then close, right? So we convert first, then we get the commitment. We don't shoot for commitment before the conversion. We've got to get them to decide it's okay for us to take the next step. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we got for tonight. It's been a quiet night. You guys have been really quiet, but that's okay. Making things happen. I am excited about a few things. I've got, we are, I'd say 2/3 of the way through the new book. So that's coming along. Momentum and Mastery. The Business Leader's Guide to Unshakable Progress. So if you're looking for progress and not sure how to get there because maybe you're frustrated or you're burning out or you are feeling stagnant or maybe you're just impatient and you want to have more, right? Wherever you're at, this book is going to meet you there. So I am looking forward to continuing that on. I'll keep you guys updated because we're, like I said, about 2/3 of the way through. And then we're going to have to go back and do a bunch of editing. And this is all rough draft right now. It's a lot more work, like I told you guys last week, than originally thought. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna make it happen. All right, friends. You guys have a fantastic evening. If you need anything, You know how to reach out?